we're going to go ahead and get started. Please don't mind the cough drop that will be floating around in my mouth. Today we are on chapter 7 of John Maxwell's The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. Navin, hi. We're in a book study. Welcome. So we are studying chapter 7, which is the law of design. So to maximize growth, develop strategies. Pretty much the whole thing's about strategies and systems. So Jim Rohn says, what's up? Jim Rohn says, if you don't design your own plan for your... I don't know why I always get off these great starts and just botch things. Okay, Jim Rohn says, if you don't design your own plan for your own life plan, chances are you'll fall into somebody else's plan. Guess what they have planned for you? Not much. So you have to be intentional about your own planning. Okay, so the next thing is glancing backwards and planning forward. Maxwell talks about how he asks what's everybody's favorite time of the year. Is it Christmas, your birthday, what holidays? His favorite time of the year is the day after Christmas up until New Year's. And what he does is he sits down and goes over absolutely everything that he did the previous year. He goes through his entire calendar, all of his meetings. He says like day by day, hour by hour. And he like goes through everything from the day after Christmas until New Year's. And he continues to look at all of these things. And he sees what was good, what was bad, what needs to change, what growth opportunities he pursued that were good, were high on return, and then which ones were not, tasks that he delegated, and then he looks to see if he needs to take them back or leave them with who they were delegated to, or if he needs to change who he delegated it to. And so he goes through everything, and then he goes through what he did with his wife and the time that he spent with his wife. And then he says he takes her on a date, and he goes through everything that they went through together, like their vacations and their trips and stuff. He says it's a great time, but it maximizes growth. And so he says, I've become more focused, strategic, and effective every year to maximize growth. You must develop strategies. That's the law of design. I have also realized I am terrible with strategies and I don't live life designed well. So we're learning. Okay, so life lessons. Most people allow their lives simply to happen to them. They float along, they wait, they react. Maxwell wants to show ways that he's learned how to help process and like get through life and be more designed, strategic. Yeah. Life is very simple. Keeping it that way is very difficult. It's a matter of knowing your value, making some key decisions based on those values, and then managing those decisions on a day-to-day basis. The secret is found in the simplicity. So, 3 questions that he said would be the key to making such strategy work. 1, can it be received personally? A profound implication, it must be internalized and transform the soul of the leader. So you have to be able to apply it to your life. 2, can it be repeated easily with simple application? It must be passed on after only a brief encounter. So you don't need to like spend a whole lot of time studying and developing these strategies before you pass it on. 3, can it be transferred strategically? A universal communication. It must be passed on globally to all cultural contexts. This is him. I'm not at a global context. So he is. So he looks at developing nations. I'm just trying to manage my life right now. Okay? So that's where he's at. Hey Chuck. 2, designing your life is more important than designing your career. Reese Witherspoon, I don't know why I always have trouble saying that, but her name apparently, Reese Witherspoon, says many people worry so much about managing careers, but rarely spend half that much energy managing their lives. I want to make my life, not just my job, the best that it can be. The rest will work itself out. Maxwell agrees partially. He says, if you plan your life well, your career will work itself out. The problem is that most people don't spend very much time planning their career either. They spend more time planning Christmas and vacations. Planning your life is about finding yourself, knowing who you are, and then customizing a design plan for your growth. Once you draw the blueprint for your life, then you can apply it in your career. Okay? 3, life is not a dress rehearsal. So there's a Peanuts story. He's a big fan of the Peanuts and Charlie Brown. And so there's one where Charlie Brown says to Linus, life is just too much for me. I've been confused from the day I was born. I think the whole trouble is that we're thrown into life too fast. We're not really prepared. And then Linus responds, what did you want? A chance to warm up first? There's no warm up for life, no dress rehearsal. Yet, that's the way many people seem to be treating it. And so there is a study done that was done by Gerard Bell, and he got together and studied a bunch of older, some were probably retired, executives, and they answered some questions about if they were to do it again, what would they do differently. So the number one response was, there's 8 responses, we're going to go down them all, but the number one response was, I should have taken charge of my life and set my goals earlier. Life isn't practice, it's the real thing. So life isn't practice, it's the real thing. So you have to take charge early. It really makes the long run easier, so I'm told. I feel like I'm a couple decades late, but here we are. Okay, so now we're gonna run down the list. So 2, the things that they said they would have done differently. I would have taken better care of my health. 3, I would have managed my money better. 4, I would have spent more time with my family. 5, I would have spent more time on personal development. 6, I would have had more fun. I have all the fun, so I don't need to worry about that one. 7, I would have planned my career better. And 8, I would have given more back. So you're not in a dress rehearsal. Fred Allen said you only live life once, but if you work it right, once is enough. So that's, YOLO is such a interesting way to live life, and people use it the wrong way, but I YOLO the life. So, okay, so on to 4. In planning your life, multiply everything by 2. So John Maxwell is quite the optimist, which means he thinks everything is easier and takes less time than it does. Turns out this is a quality we share. So he says that you should multiply all your expectations on how difficult things are going to be or how long it's going to take by 2. This is something I wish I would have done this last year. So however difficult you think it's going to be, go ahead and just double it. How much money you think it's going to cost, just double it. He says this will eliminate having so much doubt in yourself and the troubles that you come into contact with. And so he said, and then also give 3 times the effort and energy to grow yourself, and allow yourself to grow slowly and with deep roots. As you develop strategies for growth, give yourself the time and the resources you need. Whatever amount seems reasonable, just go ahead, multiply it by 2. That practice will help to keep you from becoming discouraged and giving up. And he talks about some plants And so he talked about like squash plants and how they grow really fast and produce vegetables pretty quick, but then they die off. They don't last long. Whereas a tree takes years and years and years to grow to its full potential, but then it can last longer than we do on this earth. So they live long lives. So we want deep, long-lasting roots, not just the squash. Okay? To develop strategies depends on systems. Most accomplishments in life come more easily if you approach them with systems. I really want to learn how to live systematically. Even when studying this, and like I'm studying so many different systems and things that like the greats are using and greats in my field and gym, and like it still just baffles me. I don't know how to come up with or implement systems and strategies. So we're learning. All right. Most people I know who take the time to grow personally don't take the time to capture the best thoughts and ideas they come across. So he said that the biggest waste of time people have is looking for things. They lose things. And so he mentioned that earlier. And so he said in personal growth, he does everything by systems. And so he has a system for quotes that he has and how they're filed. So if he finds a quote that he loves in an article or in anything, that it's filed in his system extremely well. So now he's talking about ways that he captures that information and stores it. He keeps them on a note, so when he's swimming and wants to mull certain thoughts over, he can like reference them quickly. So that's systems that he has for his personal growth and accessing information that he had before. Let's go. Michael Gerber says, his system of E-Myth, says that systems permit ordinary people to achieve extraordinary results predictively. However, without a system, even extraordinary people find it difficult to predictively achieve even ordinary results. So I'm an ordinary person that needs the systems to achieve extraordinary results. I've been an ordinary person without them, which hasn't gotten me very far. What is a system? It is a process for predictively achieving a goal based on specific, ordinary, repeatable principles and practices. Systems leverage your time, money, and ability. What systems include? 1. Effective systems take the big picture into account. Stephen Covey observed that we may be very busy, we may be very efficient, but we can also only be truly effective only once we begin with the end in mind. So backtracking. So having your plan and goal set and then working backwards. People who excel regardless of their profession develop systems to help them achieve the big picture. So he also talks about a fight. He just covers everything in here. We've gone Peanuts, Reese Witherspoon, and now we're going Muhammad Ali. So Muhammad Ali is a boxer, naturally, and he had this big fight, now known as the rope-a-dope, and he uses this method, the rope-a-dope. So he was up against George Foreman, which is really big and a great fighter. He's strong, and he believed that he could take them, but his strategy was literally to lean against the rope, cover himself, and take a beating. So he leaned back and took a beating until George Foreman tired himself out. And Ali is known for just having these killer hits, and so Foreman got tired, and Ali got his one hit in, knocked him out, and took the fight. So it's having your system and your strategies, and then the patience and willingness to stick it out, even if your plan is to literally take hits. So that was his in rope-a-dope. I'm not sure if it was named if the method was named before or after this fight, but that was his method. All right, it's not enough to be busy. If you're busy planning, busy reading books, and busy going to conferences, but they are not targeted on the areas essential for your success, you're not helping yourself. Then there's a quote, unhappiness is not knowing where you want, I want to get this one right because I love it. Unhappiness is not knowing what you want, but killing yourself to get it. So it's just fighting and not even knowing what you're fighting for. C.S. Lewis said, every person is composed of a few things. So what are yours? All right. 2, effective systems make use of priorities. A system is a limited help to you if it does not take into account your priorities. Brian Tracy says, perhaps the very best question you can memorize and repeat over and over is, what is the most valuable use of my time right now? Your answer to that question should shape any system that you create for yourself. You should also ask yourself, when is the most valuable time? So he talks about his Maxwell's most valuable time is in the morning. He gets the most done. He's able to focus and think. Then I think we've already talked about it before. Mine is too. I value my mornings. I recently started clearing out some of my mornings so that I can do my best thinking then, get my office work done, stuff like that. All right. I was no longer, Maxwell talks about, in order to keep his priorities, which is his time in his mornings, he was no longer allowed to answer requests of his time. Instead, it would go through a group of and for his like speaking engagements and things, and the group of the committee, the group of people ended up becoming known as the Hatchet Committee, because they would axe like 90% of the speaking engagements that he was requested for. But that was the system that they put in place to help him guard his priority of his time. All right, so what systems do you need to put into place to help you maintain your priorities, and what people do you need to give responsibility and power to so that they can help you? Y'all, I finally reached out. I have like 4 people stepping in to help me. They're taking over different things to help me maximize my time and my effectiveness, and we'll see how that goes. Pray for me. No. Trying to let it go. 3, effective systems include measurements. Jack Welch, former CEO of General Electric, asserts that a strategy is first trying to understand where you sit in today's world, not where you wish you were or where you hope you would be, but where you are. Then it's trying to understand where you want to be in 5 years. Finally, it's assessing the realistic changes of getting from here to there. Y'all, that was so rough. I'm sorry. So it's looking at just having a realistic view of where you are now and where you want to be, and then strategically planning on how to get there in 5 years. So, but it's really understanding where you are and like looking honestly at where you're at. All right. What does it all have in common? It's measurements. Okay. The first step that leads to control and eventually to improvement. If you can't measure something, you can't understand it. If you can't understand it, you can't control it. And if you can't control it, you cannot improve it. So you have to have measurable increments. It talks about finance people. They need to know where they're going, where they're headed. Miss Valerie Davis, hi. I haven't seen you in years. Okay. Measurement is the key to improvement. In fact, measurement itself can create improvement. So there was, I don't see it in my notes. Where did it go? It's gone. Maybe it's further down. There was a place, oh, it's gonna drive me crazy now. They started taking measurements, performance measurements at a plant. Where was it? Starts with an H. And here we are. And because they started measuring and keeping stats, the employees began to perform better. Hawthorne effect. They call it the Hawthorne effect. When people knew their work was being measured, their productivity increased. Research called it the Hawthorne effect because it was done at the Hawthorne plant. Oh, look, it's right there. Measurement makes a difference. All right, number 4, effective systems include application. William Danforth says, no plan is worth the paper it's printed on unless it starts you doing something. So, can't just have a plan, gotta have the action. What are you doing now? Both plan and action must go together. The plan creates the track, and the action provides the traction. I like that because it kind of rhymes. He says that he's developed a habit of asking himself 3 questions every time he learns something new. And it helps him apply it and share it. Just categorize it, I guess. Where can I use this? The next one that I have there is also where can I use this? Who needs to know this? What is the 3rd question? Y'all, my notes. Where can I use this? When can I use this? And who else needs to know this? This has become a discipline in my life so that I always have a bias towards action when I learn something new. 5, effective systems employ organization. My downfall is organization. There's this store that he walked into one time, like a thrift shop or whatever, and it said, "We've got it if you can find it." And so he says that is the terrible way to live. See, look, I jumped forward. He says the biggest waste of time that people have in life is, the number 1 waste of time most people have is looking for something that's lost. It's true for me. I literally lose everything. The things I lose the most. Now my keys have an air tag now. My backpack has an air tag, and my wallet has an air tag. Yo, I'm about to buy an air tag and tape it to my inhaler because that's the thing that I've been missing the most lately. I feel like I'm always looking for it. So, good golly, yes. You agree? We need the inhaler? Or we need the... You need air tags or I need more air tags? My sister's agreeing with us. Time has a way of getting away from most people, yet time is the one time is what life is made of. Everything we do requires time, yet many people take it for granted. How do you spend your time? How you spend your time is the most important. I'm just gonna start this whole phrase over because I'm butchering it. You need all the air tags. Thanks. Yes, I do. Okay. Time has a way of getting away from most people. Yet, time is what life is made of. Everything we do requires time, yet many people take it for granted. How do you spend your time? How you spend your time is more important than how you spend your money. Money mistakes can be corrected, but once time is passed or spent, it's gone forever. So true. You only get to live one moment, one time, and then it's gone. Being organized gives a sense of power. When you know your purpose and priorities, and you have ordered your day, week, and year according to them, you have a clarity of thought that strengthens everything you do. Okay. 6. Thanks, Michelle. Cheerleader. She says, I got this. Whew. Effective systems promote consistency. Journalist Sidney Harris observed, an idealist believes the short run doesn't count. A cynic believes the long run doesn't matter. A realist believes that what is done or left undone in the short run determines the long run. Now, this is something, at first when I heard it, I was like, oh, I don't know if I follow. But as a runner, I totally get it. You can't do the long runs without the good short runs. If you put in the work in your short runs, your long runs become possible. But you can't skip one for the other. You will never change your life until you change something that you do daily. The secret of your success is found in the daily routines. Remember that habit stacking? That's what we're talking about again, the little habits. What does it take to develop consistency? A system and the discipline to follow through. As you seek to develop strategies to maximize your growth, you should also seek principles that have stood the test of time. Don't try to simply adopt somebody else's practices as your own. Customize them to yourself. John Ron said, if you go to work on your goals will go to work on you. If you go to work on your plans, your plan will go to work on you. Whatever good things we build end up building us. That is the power of the law of design. So now, applying the law of design to your life. Excuse me. We're almost done, guys. Hang in there. Applying the law of design to your life. 1. Take some time to assess which areas in your life receive the most of your strategic planning time. Here's a list of areas to get you thinking, and others that add others that apply to you. So career, faith, family, health, hobby, marriage, personal growth, and vacation. Have you been strategic in your approach to design strategies and systems for your life? 2, begin developing or refining the systems for your life, for yourself, that will maximize your time and increase your efficiency. Brainstorm a list of areas where you desire to improve. Or are experiencing a problem or sensing an opportunity. Try to create systems to help you for each as you design them. Make sure that each takes into account the following. The big picture. Will the system help you reach your big picture goals? Your priorities? Is the system consistent with your values and commitments? Measurement. Does the system give you a tangible way to judge if you succeed? Application. Does the system have a built-in bias towards action? Organization. Does the system make better use of your time than what you're doing right now? And consistency. Can and will you easily repeat the system on a regular basis? Don't be reluctant to make any adjustments to the system that you made. If it doesn't seem to be working, you can always tweak it, try another, scrap it, and go again. But you should try a system for at least 3 weeks before making any adjustments. And then finally, 3. Many people who try to develop strategies for their life and growth make them too complicated. Any system to develop should be simple and straightforward. So keep it easy. Or my mom always said, KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Okay, guys, that is it for the law of design on today's Lunch and Learn Live. If you have any questions, comments, you can always hit me up. Thank you for tuning in. And next week we'll be covering number 8, the law of pain.